Hello students, so welcome back, and now we were gonna actually start designing our game in Unreal Engine. Just to clarify something, this project is not something I invented. This is an hour of code, Unreal Engine, build your first 3D game. The link is below. I'm just updating the lesson. It was created originally by Stephen Isaac, and it was made in 2022, as you all can see. So I'm just giving a new perspective on it and simplifying it where a student who haven't used a computer before or never built a game before will have an easier time working around with it. So let's start. So last time we had our file, and now we can click on the Unreal Engine project, double click on it. It will ask you what engine you want to run it with. We're currently using the newest version of Epic Unreal Engine, which is 5.6. So that's what I'm going to use, and I will hit OK. So since we're jumping to a new engine, and this lesson was originally developed for 4.26, there will be some misbehaviors and files that might go wrong, and we're going to work through all of those as we discover them through these lessons. And here we can see the game turned on, and we have two error messages, and both of them are talking about this floor object, which we are not going to be using, so we don't have to worry about it. So I'm just gonna clear all those errors and move forward. So welcome to the game. This is the window that you're going to see whenever you start a project in Unreal Engine. Of course, minus all the elements inside this environment. But there is few items or few parts of this windows that I want you to be familiar with. The first part we're going to talk about is this content drawer. Down here on the left side, if you click on it, you will see all the files related to your project. And as you can see on the left side, we have this hierarchy that shows you all the content. And here they are just visible in bigger icons. So the two files that we will be mainly using in this lesson is going to be hour of code and the third person PB. So I'm going to change their color to a different color just to make them stand out by clicking on it, right click, and then set color, and then just pick any color. I'm going to pick a red color just because. And then I'm just going to reopen my content drawer, third person, right click on it, set color, and this time I'm just going to select the same red color. And that will just make them distinctive, easy to spot. Do you have to do this part? You don't, it's just housekeeping parts. All right, so that's the content drawer. It shows you all your file, everything related to the game. So if I clicked an hour of code, I can see my blueprints, I can see my audio, I can see my materials. I can see so many different things. If I want a third person, the same thing. I can see the blueprints related to my third person. All right. And by the way, you can navigate through here by going up here, and you can go back. Or you can just go to the hierarchy on the left side. All right. That being said, that's the content drawer. The next part that I want you to look at is this big window with all those objects inside it. This is your viewer. This is where everything happened. The game items and the game object, the game actors, everything will be here. You can click on different parts of the games like the map, floor, or the platform, or the place where the player will start. All those are objects you can interact with. You can move them using these arrows, which we're not going to do at the moment, but we will do it in a minute. All right, there is few ways you can interact with the environment. First, the left click on the mouse help you pick up the different object in your environment. The right click help you, if you hold it and drag your mouse, it help you rotate to look all over the place. And then you can zoom in by rolling your mouse forward and backward. And if you press the middle button of the mouse, the rolling part, you can slide left and right, up and down. All right, what if you want to move forward, backward, left, right, and so on and so forth? You can use the WASD key combination by holding your right click on the mouse and then W to move forward, S to move backward, A to move to the left, and D to move to the right. That's how you can navigate around the map. There is another way to navigate around the map by using your number keys on top of your letters. So if you try to press number 1, you would see that it takes you to the same screen we started with. 2 take you to a different place. 3, 4, 5, 6, all of them take you to different places. Those are stop points or mark points that have been built into this map, and later on in a different tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make them. but basically they help you navigate to different area of the map for whatever reason you set it. Like, for example, if you're working on that area and you need to see how it goes and things like that, or if those represent checkpoints and you want to start your character at a certain checkpoint. All right, that's how you navigate through the view portal of this. All right, next, let's look at our right side of the screen. We have an outliner and we have detail settings. All right, this is how it's gonna appear for you. So the outliner show you all the different objects in your map. Like, for example, I'm selecting this box. You can see it got selected here. If I went all the way up, you can see things are organized in folders based on level, based on other information. And of course, you can organize them however you want. Since this is an already established project, it have been organized a certain way. And then if, let's say I select this object, the details window shows now. And then it gives you all the details. I'm just gonna hit OK to get this out of the way. You can see all the details of this object, how you can interact with it. You can change the mesh, you can change some specification related to physics, rendering and other things. All right, and there is one more window we want to add, which is the world setting. So the window right now, it doesn't appear. So we can go to Windows and we can write world. And world setting is going to show up. Again, go to window on the search bar, write the word world. And then click on world setting. It's going to show up next to the details. And this will give you all the information related to the current level. Like, we're going to use it in a minute, but for example, you can set how down can you go, or what's the maximum depth or maximum height you can go. What's the gravity of the level if you want to add a specific gravity and things like that. We're going to play around with it in a few moments. All right, so that being said, now let's actually go ahead and try our game. To run the demo of the game, you can click on the green play button, or you can use the shortcut Alt-P. I'm going to click on the green play button, and this is my character. I can move it by moving left and right and up and down, whether using the arrow side of the keyboard, or I can use the AWSD. All right, so far so good. We can discover some places, by the way, the space bar to jump. And let's try to go through this place. So what happened now? We just went through the floor. This platform is supposed to hold us up, but it didn't. We just went through it. And now we are stuck in this area. So what do we call this area down here? We call it a soft lock. When you're stuck and you can't move forward or go backward in the game, we call that a soft lock, and that is a design flaw that we need to fix. And most importantly, we also need to fix the platform where we want the platform to hold us. So what do we call that? We call it collision. And by the way, to stop playing, you can press the ESC key on your keyboard. It's on the very top left corner of the keyboard, and that will get you out of the view. And then we can press number 1 to take us back to the original space. So what we need to do is we need to give this platform a collider. So whenever our player object sits on it, it detects it and it knows that, hey, I'm not supposed to go through it. So let's go ahead and do that. It is, right, so to give it a collision, we need to go to the mesh editor or static mesh editor. We can select our object and press Ctrl E on our keyboard, and that will open our static mesh editor. All right, so as of now, we can see this object and we can navigate around it and look at it. It looks like the platform. Okay, now we need to add a collision to it. You can see this button here called collision drawing, and we're just going to make it simple. We're going to do a collision 10DOP Z simplified collision. And this will basically create a polygon around it in green, and this is our collision polygon. As you can see, it's not super detailed. It's very rough because we just made it as a 10DOP. And we don't need more than that because it's a simple platform. It doesn't have to be super accurate, and that's something good in game design. Always give your players a margin of error. Like, you don't want them to fall as soon as they step off the edge. You want to be great, like you want to give them grace. So after we add this, and you will see the green showing up, go ahead and hit save. And now we saved it. We can close the window and we can play again. This time we can watch our player going to the platform and not falling through. Now the collision is detected and I am floating in. But we still have the other problem. This problem here, when I fall down here, I can't get back up. I can't do anything about it. And by the way, I need to get to this side. So one platform is not enough. Maybe we need multiple platforms. So let's exit the game view by pressing the ESC button on our keyboard. And I'm going to press 1 again to get me back to this view. So let's fly to face this place. I'm holding right click on my mouse and moving with AWSD combination. So now I have my first platform and I want to make copies of it. And that will be very straightforward by pressing Control C, Control V, and then I'm going to move it. Control V, I'm going to move it again. Control V, and I'm going to move it again. By the way, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. So we can copy this one so we don't have to drag it from the very beginning. Just going to make sure the spacing is right. Control C, Control V again. And I think these are enough platforms to get us there safely without causing too much challenge. Let's test it. Play. Okay, let's go. You can see I can jump, jump again, jump and jump and jump. Perfect. We made it through. But what happened if we accidentally fell down? We still have the soft lock issue. I can't get out of here. So let's go ahead and fix that. I'm going to exit the view by pressing ESC. All right. And I'm going to press number 1 again just to move me here. All right. And I'm holding the right click and moving with AWSD. So I'm going to get back underneath the hole in here. We need to add something called a pane box. So up here on our quick add, you can click on it and look for pane or pane causing volume, I guess in this case. It's called pane causing volume. You will click on it and it will create this box. So this box is unique because it's not visible whenever you're playing the game, but it have an action. It will do something whenever we touch it. All right. So let's make sure we change it and modify it so it fills this whole area down here. So to move it, you can use these arrows. I'm just going to keep it like this. And then to change the width and height, you can make sure you select it and press the letter R on your keyboard. And you can change the width of it. And then let's make sure we're just holding this side. Yeah, and I'm going to extend it as far, and I'll look back this way. Okay, it's far enough that way. I'm going to press W to switch back to the movement, and I'm going to move it, make sure. All right, I'm almost done. I'm almost covering the whole area. I just need to press R again, make it a little longer maybe, then W, slide it again. Perfect. So now no matter where I go in this area, there is no way I'm going to escape the box. All right, let's test it. Hit play. And I'm going to accidentally fall. And perfect. It set me back to the beginning. And that just shows me that, hey, it works. Now I can't soft lock myself. No matter where I fall, it will always send me back to the beginning. Perfect. All right, let's pass this area. And what happened if I accidentally fell off the edge here? I will keep falling. And apparently I'm going to keep falling forever. So we don't want that to happen. We want to reset when we fall off the edge of the island. So I'm going to hit ESC to exit. And I will press 1 to send me back home. So let's go ahead and set that up. In the world setting, we can set something called kill Z. And as you can see down here, this is the details window, world setting window. The kill Z right now is set at this huge number, but it's also inactive. We need to activate it. So I will go to advanced. I will enable world bounce check. And let's make the number smaller, -500, for example. Let's see where that will take us. And I will hit play again. And let's see what happens. jump, 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 jump. I made it here. And now let's fall and see what happens. Okay, that fall was very short. Didn't look nice. So let's go ahead and change the number. Let's try 1,000. 1,000. Let's see how 1,000 would look like. Again, I'll play the game. Jump, 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 and let's fall. 1,000 doesn't look good either, so let's increase the number. We're gonna do it until we find a number that we're satisfied with. I'm gonna go with 5,000 because I feel like 1,000 was too little, and I'm gonna play again. Jump, 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 and jump again. Okay, 5,000 looks better. Maybe 10,000 just to give me a little bit of a fall feeling. So negative 10,000, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's try that. It's probably going to be somewhere between 10 and 5,000. And again, you can decide on the number yourself. You don't have to stick with my numbers. It's just how it feels to you. I just like to see the bottom of the island before I reset. I think 10,000 works for me. So I'm going to keep it at 10,000. All right, so to pick up where we left, we already finished this part. And now we need to get from this island to our next island, as we said, to that side. But jumping is not going to take us there. So what can we do? We can go ahead and add some island and create a parkour course to get us from this side to the other side. So let's do that. First, I'm just going to arrange my camera by holding my right click and moving with AWSD. Some position about here so I can see the whole thing. My goal is to get from this platform to this platform. So where can I find the islands that I can make a copy of? I can go to Content, Drawer, Hour of Code, Static Meshes, and then I will see my island. It's SM floating island _S. I'll just drag it and drop it. As you all can see, it's huge right now. I'm going to move it down, move it back this way, a little bit to the left. I need to get it way lower, I guess. A little bit this way. Let's see. All right. That's about where I need it to start, right? So I'm going to put it just slightly, something like this. Let's move my mouse and keyboard and fly around and see. We just want to make sure it looks good. All right, so my character will be here and then they will be able to jump to this island. All right, so let's go ahead and make a copy of this island. I showed you one way to make a copy by hitting Control-C, Control-V. Another way to make a copy is by holding the Alt button on your keyboard. So I would hold the Alt button and then I will drag one of the arrows and that makes a copy. All right, so I can add a second island over here. And then maybe add a third island, Alt, and then slide your mouse again, and add our third island. And as you can see, this gap is too big for us to jump, so I'm going to move the island closer, move it this way, maybe even a little higher, like yay much. But as you all can see, it's kind of boring. It's just 3 massive islands, and get me from this point to that point. Let's try it and see how it feels. Okay, so finishing this part, then I get here and I start moving through my islands, which it's not really challenging at all. It's very simple. So let's make it a little challenging. All right, let's fly back and look at our island. First thing we can do is change the size of our island. Instead of those massive islands, we can make them smaller. I will grab my first island, hit R, and then I can touch this white cube and drag, and that will make the island smaller, about this side. Then W to move back to the arrows. I'll put this island on. Let's actually make the player get down the stairs and start from the floor. How about that? Okay. And then let's say the next island need to be a little higher to the right. So I'm going to grab my second island. I'm going to make it tinier smaller, again R to get the sizing thing, W to move the islands. All right, I'm just gonna make it slightly higher, so the player have to jump from here and then go up a little bit. Let's see. And again, you don't have to do what I'm doing right now. I'm just making the game more interesting, and that's part of the game design element. All right, so to make it even more interesting, press the letter E, and that will give you the rotation tool, and I'm gonna rotate the island slightly like this. Don't rotate it too much. If you rotated it too much, it will be almost impossible for your player to sit on it. I can even make it smaller actually. So let's make it smaller, something like this, very small, rotated island, drag it, make sure it is somewhere where my player can actually reach if they jumped. This is too high, I believe. Okay. And then I'm gonna take my third big island. I'm also gonna shrink it, but that size, move it, get it closer. So you have to jump from there to here, and then go all the way up top. And then maybe let's make this jump a little risky by spreading it that much. And then let's duplicate this one by holding Alt, and I'm gonna drag it up. And then hold Alt again, drag it up one more time. Maybe move it this way. Okay, this is too high. We need to drop it down. Move it forward maybe. Let's see, that's still too high. We're gonna create a jump boost, but as of now, we don't have it. So we need to be very careful on our positioning of our islands. Okay. Okay, and then I need probably 2 more islands. Let's make a copy of this Alt, and then I'm gonna go see, if you kept holding Alt and try to move, we're just gonna keep making copies, so just be careful. The way I delete the copies I don't want is by pressing the delete button on my keyboard. Let's rotate this. I pressed E to rotate, and I'm gonna actually, well, maybe this is too much. Let's try it this much. And as you all can see, I'm just playing it by ear here. I don't have like a very clear guide of what I'm doing. I'm just doing what it feels right. Let's try this parkour and see how it goes. All right. It's an easy one, okay. And then, yeah, that's enough to get me to the other side. Perfect. So now we are on our next step to complete this section. And as you all can see, there is a moving platform, and that will be our next lesson.